you just confirm? We are done the reading of the chapter. We are not afraid to die. Yes?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes. And the explanation was also done for a little bit, or we have to begin the explanation?
Until second page.
Yes. Yeah. Second page, I know. So you remember. So now, uh, anybody can tell me just a little bit about the background of the thing, the theme of this chapter that we have discussed. What is it all about?
Ma'am, it
Anyone
is
of you?
about
Yeah.
fearlessly fearlessly facing the
Mm-hmm.
problems in our life with courage and not giving
Mm-hmm.
up hope in the most difficult situations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what keeps us going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what was the chapter all about?
Ma'am, it was about the author surviving a storm in the
Mm-hmm.
Pacific Southern Indian Ocean with his
Mm-hmm.
family.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point he and his family felt that they were not going to survive, but the
Mm-hmm.
hope kept them going, and that's why they survived.
This the hope. This is one word which should always be there in everybody's dictionary. In fact, each one of us should have this the word in our dictionary, and that is hope. Hope is something which keeps us going, which keeps us grounded, which always gives us that feeling that we can achieve. So all these things are important in one's existence. Right now, coming to the chapter, page number 2, my guess is we had stopped at the last paragraph, if I'm not wrong. Hung on, that is the word I remember, leaving the thing behind. And it talks about the rag doll and all that. And um, we had come to the last part of it. That let me just share it with you again, PDF with you, and the rest of you who have the book with you, page number 14. Okay, all of you, please look into your books. At least 2 pages I'll try and complete today. Yeah, is it visible? One of you can just confirm.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So towards the last line, in fact, we are there. And this is a famous quotation by S.T. Coleridge. He's the poet. This line, water, water everywhere. In fact, this line is quite famous. People know it by heart. Water, water everywhere, not a single drop to drink. This is what we were like. I have been brought up with this kind of a quotation. It's like don't waste water and all that. So, but you see water everywhere, and it was poetry which was called the the description was that the entire sea is there, but in sea you have this what you call salty water which you cannot drink. So some description of that only has been given here. Water, water everywhere. I could feel that the ship had water below, but I dared not abandon the wheel to investigate. Meaning, it is everywhere. It is all the place is full of water. That's what he's saying. And the life has completely changed for these guys. In one moment, initially when they began the trip, they all thought that thing will be very thrilling, very exciting. The entire trip will be very fun, and like with a lot of enthusiasm, they had started off the trip. But it turned out to be a nightmare for all of them. You know, they felt that it was a nightmare for everybody. That is what he is talking about. And how was it a nightmare? Because the wind direction changed. There was the weather suddenly changed. It became atrocious. Atrocious means extremely cruel or extremely bad. It turned out to be.
From the meeting.
Pardon me?
Ma'am, someone removed me from the meeting. I had to rejoin.
Just a second. Just a second, better. In fact, I'll just take your attendance as well. Just a minute. Yeah, Akanksha,
Present, ma'am.
Arav, just a second, better. Akanksha, Arav Grewal, fast is absent. Arav Sharma, Aishwarya,
Present, ma'am.
Akshita,
Present, ma'am.
Aman, Aman is also absent. Arumita,
Present, ma'am.
Aryan,
Present, ma'am.
Ayush,
Present, ma'am.
Bhavya Bhardwaj,
Present, ma'am.
Daman,
Present, ma'am.
Dishita,
Present, ma'am.
Drishan is absent. Galaxy,
Present, ma'am.
Gautam,
Present, ma'am.
Gautam Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Himanshu,
Present, ma'am.
Jayant, Jayant is absent. Yeah, Jayant is absent.
I'm present.
Then Aman is absent. Aman is absent.
Ma'am, I'm present.
Jayant, yeah. Kanak, Kanha,
Present,
Present,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Kunjal,
Present, ma'am.
Lakshay,
Present, ma'am.
Linoy,
Present, ma'am.
Pragya,
Present, ma'am.
Rishabh,
Present, ma'am.
Rohan,
Ma'am, present.
Shashwat,
Present,
absent.
ma'am.
Okay. So Shivansh,
Present, ma'am.
Siddharth, Siddhant,
Present, ma'am.
Siddharth,
Present.
Vani.
Present, ma'am.
So my guess is this is the best way of taking attendance. See, the beginning of the class, it starts off like this, then some disappear. This is the best way you can do. Okay, we'll start.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
Ma'am, I'm
ma'am, we marked me
present.
present. Ma'am, RF present.
where were you? You're not there in the beginning. You just switched on and went away somewhere, and then again you've turned back.
Ma'am, I'm present.
Yeah, but be present for the class. Don't be there just for the sake of giving your attendance. Otherwise, it's no point
No,
for
ma'am,
you.
I am there.
Yeah. Aman, I got it. Yeah. Okay. Now coming to the chapter, uh, we'll move to page number 15. Take the wheel. Sorry. The front hatch. Suddenly, the front hatch means the front door, was thrown open and Mary appeared. We are sinking, she screamed. The decks are smashed. We are full of water. See, the panic is everywhere. The panic is gripping everywhere, especially the captain of the ship. He has also realized the crewmen who are there, the family members who are there with them. Everybody has realized that it is not going to be very easy. Now, take the wheel, I shouted as I scrambled for the hat, meaning scrambled. He just moved. Somehow they are trying to, keep everything intact because it has the entire wave and the wind and everything. It has created a lot of panic there, and the water has rushed inside. So it is like they feel as if they're drowning. And what does Larry and Herb do? They were pumping like madmen, meaning they were like taking out or pulling out the water as fast as possible. Broken timbers hung at crazy angles, meaning the boat kind of has this, not dismantled, I won't say broken and in at certain places, and that could hurt people. The whole starboard side is the right side of the ship. Starboard side, I repeat again, is the right side of the ship. That day I was showing you that. So everything is there. I'll again repeat that. I'll show that. And starboard side bulged inward. Then clothes, crockery, charts, tins, and toys sloshed. Meaning sloshed means it looked as if they were drunk. It was as if everything was shaky. So sloshed about in deep water. So basically saying that the situation was very crazy. The things had fallen apart. The people were hurt badly. The entire deck, which is there, the boat, the deck, it is in a miserable state. So everything has gone crazy, and these guys are trying to survive very somehow or the other. And Larry and her, both of them were the crewmen. All they are doing is pumping out the water. I half swam, half crawled into the children's cabin. Are you all right? I asked. Yes, they answered from an upper bunk. But my head hurts a bit, said Sue, pointing to a big bump above her eyes. I had no time to worry about bump heads. Now, see, there are more tasks. The bigger task was not to look for small injuries. It was rather to look for bigger problems, and that is to save everybody's life. I repeat, these smaller things were not important. It was not important that you do, who has got a little bruise here, or maybe somebody is hurt in the leg or in the eyes or something. But bigger thing is to save people. I half swam, half crawled into the children's cabin. Or are you all right? I asked. Yes, they answered from upper bunk. But my head hurts a bit. So basically, they are saying that it's like they are in a state of trance, absolutely. They have hurt themselves. They are not in a very good situation. They are suffering it quite a bit. So they are generally not in a good state. So he's like kind of feeling very disturbed. He's getting all kinds of, you can say, that the things are making him unstable, and he feels as if the death is near. So it's better that I first save the people. Let me first. My responsibility is for these people who are on board. I half swam, half crawled into the children's cabin. Are you all right? I asked. Yes, they answered from an upper bunk. Bunk is those bunk bed kind of thing, one above the other. Most of the time, the ships and the boats, they have these kind of things. They have, because there are not much space there. So the cabins, they have one above the other. Things are one above the other. So that is what he's saying, that he is asking his children whether they are fine or not. Yes, they answered from an upper bunk, but my head hurts a bit, said Sue, pointing to a big bump above her eyes. I had no time to worry about bump head. After finding a hammer, screws, and canvas, I struggled back on deck. With the starboard side, again I repeat, starboard side is the right side of the ship. So, from the right side of the with the starboard side bashed open, we were taking water with each wave that broke over us. If I could make some repairs, we could surely sink. So the bigger task was to save the lives of these people. Somehow I managed to stretch canvas and secure waterproof hatch covers across the gaping holes. Gaping is those huge holes that, every corner there have been those small, small holes which have come up because a sudden wave has hit them, and they have kind of broken from here and there, and the water is gushing in from everywhere. Some water continued to stream below, but most of it was now being deflected out over the side. Deflected is like kind of become flat over the other side. It is all the basically you imagine the situation that the ship initially, when they started off, it was in a very good situation. They had made it with so much of careful analysis over the period of 16 years, and things had gone into it, feelings, emotions, lot of material and everything. But now what remains after that sudden break is that there are gaps, there are holes, there the water is coming out from everywhere. It's as if they are going to sink anytime. More problems arose when our hand pump started to block up with the debris. Debris is all kinds of remains, the things which are left behind. When after destruction, anything which is left behind is debris. So debris floating around the cabin, and the electric pump short circuited. So it is like in a messy situation, the entire thing is. The water level rose threateningly. Back on deck, I found that our two spare hand pumps had been wrenched overboard, along with the forestay sail. sail. Please underline forestay sail. It means small open sailing boat. The entire, uh, this entire description, forestay sail, the jib, the dinghies, and the main anchor. These are all part of the boat. That time also I showed you how it works. The jib, of course, is that entire flag which was there. The dinghies are those small sailing boats which are attached to the main one. The anchor is kind of you can say, which latches onto something and keeps the boat in a secured manner. So all these things are going on, right? So they basically, it's a, you can say, if you know a little bit about water and if you've seen a few movies and all, if you've gone on a ship also visiting, then these things are very commonly used terms. Then actually in times of desperation, in times of this kind of a problem, when you have all kinds of measures you take to secure yourself safe. Then I remembered we had another electric pump under the chart room floor. It's like where they make the planning and all that, the cabin and all that. That place they would rush and they would like they remember that there is an electric pump through which they can pull out the water. I connected it to an out pipe and was thankful to find that it worked. So basically, these are all desperate measures which are being taken to save the lives of so many people who are on board of this wave walker. Wave walker is the ship that they have prepared, right? So they are basically trying their level best how to overcome this problem, how to come out of this situation, and how to basically, see that they don't drown and die there in the open sea. So that is what is the thing. The night dragged on with an endless, bitterly cold routine of pumping, steering, and working the radio. We were getting no replies to our Mayday calls. Please underline Mayday calls. It means when you are in a trouble, when you are what do you call distressed, when you are worried, you give signals or radio communications. You know, so those are called Mayday calls. Like for example, if there is a boat which is going to sink, or maybe if there is an aircraft which is going to go down. So there are calls which are given, the radio communications are given, and they are distress signals. Mainly in a ship, you will see that they light up the sky with a kind of thing. They take it and light up so that people know that there is an international distress call. And it was actually made official in 1948. This particular thing till that time wasn't confirmed, but it was officially made in 1948 during that after that World War period and all that they decided to come up with it. And Maider, Maider. I don't know how you pronounce it in French. It's a French word actually. Maider means help me. Those desperate calls which you make, they are called Mayday calls, distress signal, radio communications which are given to help, help me, that kind of distress call. Sue's head had swollen alarmingly. She had two enormous black eyes, and now she showed us a deep cut on her arm. When I asked why she hadn't made more of her injuries before this, she replied, I didn't want to worry you when you were trying to save us all. Now, see the courage of this girl. Even if she is in pain, even if she is feeling miserable, she did not bother to disturb her father. Because why? She thought that maybe if she troubles him, that poor guy who's trying to save their life would get distracted. He would feel miserable. Obviously, a father will feel bad that the child is hurt. So instead of telling and bothering him, she kept quiet. So that was also a very brave step which the child had taken. By morning on January 3rd, the pumps had the water level sufficiently under control for us to take 2 hours rest in rotation. So now the situation was in such a state that nobody is going to sleep. Obviously, peaceful sleep is just out of question. It is like they will be in such a state that somehow they have to manage and survive. And then one after the other, they are taking turns to sleep, and some of them are trying to protect the entire thing. Somebody is pumping out water, somebody is on the wheel, somebody is trying to help by being very courageous. So, in every possible way, people are trying to help the thing. Now, by morning on January 3rd, the pumps had the water level sufficiently under control for us to take 2 hours rest in rotation. So, the moment they realized the condition is slightly better, they started taking turns to sleep after a while. But we still had a tremendous leak somewhere below the water line. And on checking, I found that nearly all the boats' main rib frames were smashed down to the keel. Now, I had also showed you the picture of the boat. The keel is right at the bottom. So it is kind of an anchor, you would say. And when that is also smashed, so you can imagine how dire state they are in. In fact, there was nothing holding up a whole section of the starboard hull except a few cupboard partitions. So you can see the boat, the sturdy part of the boat is the hull. Now, anything that was standing on that hull, it is now in a very shaky position. It's as if they are all in a turmoil. They are just going down any time. And they are trying to somehow hold on to the boat and keep it there intact so that human lives are saved somehow. We had survived for 15 hours since the wave hit, but uh, that wave walker wouldn't hold together long enough to us for us to reach Australia. So obviously, they have survived, no doubt. 15 hours they have survived since the time the wave has kind of hit onto them and broken the entire boat or whatever. But then they have clung on to their whole thing. They have not given up hope. And I checked our charts and calculated that there were two small islands a few hundred kilometers to the east. Now imagine few hundred kilometers. So it is when their map, the entire thing shows them the direction that, there is some life, there is some hope somewhere, but that also a few hundred kilometers, it is quite scary. One of them being Isle Amsterdam was a French scientific base. So basically these places, they have been established to carry out scientific research. In fact, maximum of Antarctica, if you ever get a chance to watch National Geography or some Discovery and all that, you can see these kind of scientific base being established in Antarctica, in the Arctic Circle, or these deep seas and all, so many places where they have done that. And in fact, French Guiana, that is also one place they carry out so many scientific experiments and also something like that. Our one hope was to reach these pinpricks in the vast mountains. Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of pinpricks? Anyone? Arif, what is the
Ma'am,
meaning
if
of
we pin
pinpricks?
ourselves, if we prick ourselves with a pin, then there's a very small dot that
Yes,
is called.
yeah, very small, you can say islands or small places in the vast ocean. Those small places. In fact, very closer home, you can see Maldives, you can see the Lakshadweep Islands, even Andaman and Nicobar Islands, so small ones. So something like that, they were building some hope that, okay, maybe we are not going to die. But unless the wind and seas abated, I had already told you the word, but it's like you cannot avoid that kind of thing. Sea abated, so we could hoist sail. Hoist sail means again carry on the expedition. Our chances would be slim indeed. The great wave had put our auxiliary engine out of action, meaning there must be some kind of a backup earlier. But now even that backup has given up. It's always like you prepare two things, one to lie back on. Suppose there is something wrong, which you call if you use a car, that is a stepney. So it's more like a stepney. Even the stepney is not working. That's what he's saying. It is also out of action. On January 4th, after 36 hours of continuous pumping, we reached the last few centimeters of water. Now we had only to keep pace with the water still coming in. We could not set any sail on the mainmast, meaning the boat was not with a sail. That cover which was there, it is already gone. Pressure on the rigging would simply pull the damaged section of the hull apart. Meaning anything, if we put pressure on, if we do any addition or subtraction, it will directly have an effect on the main sturdy part of the boat that is somehow controlling and managing their life. So they are not taking any kind of risk on it. Then, so we hoisted the storm jib and headed for where I thought the two islands were. Mary found some corned beef and cracker biscuits, and we ate our first meal in almost 2 days. Now, the survival was more important than about meal and food and clothing and shelter and sleep and all that. It was first survival. If they live, they can always have food later. So, this is the first time in 2 days that they were all having food to eat. And what was the food? Corned beef and cracker biscuits. So, in your questions, also, these could be a possible MCQs. What were the things that contained all that? But our respite was short lived. At 4 p.m., black clouds began building up behind us. Within the hour, the wind was back to 40 knots. Like I said, the speeds and all that, and the seas were getting higher. The weather continued to deteriorate. Deteriorate means get worse, fall down throughout the night. And by dawn on January 5th, our situation was again desperate. So obviously, sea is never a good, what do you call slave. It is a very good bad master. It will get you off guard anytime. It is going to hit you anytime. And in such a rough sea, life is very difficult and unpredictable also. You don't expect such a thing, and that will only happen. When I went in to comfort the children, John said, "Daddy, are we going to die?" It's a very simple question. Obviously, with people are so scared. I tried to assure him that we could make it. But Daddy, he went on, we aren't afraid of dying if we can all be together. You and Mummy, you and I. Please underline this line. This is the crux of the whole chapter. But Daddy, he went on, we aren't afraid of dying if we are all together. So now just see this word. That if we all are together, meaning if we put in teamwork, if we put in all our hard work together, we are not going to die. It is not so easily done. Like, when we were children, we were told a small story where I remember the father is going to die and how is he going to divide his property. So, and all that discussion is going on. And one stick he gives to the children to break. And everybody manages to break it in one go. But when the father puts a bundle that holds you can say sticks are put together and given back to the sons, they can't break it. So he tries to prove at the end to his children that, when you are together, nobody is going to really disturb your life. If you guys do anything in teamwork, things are better looking. It is always benefiting to be together. That is what this chapter also teaches. That if you stick together, if you contribute together, if you make an effort together, even a horrible journey like this can be pleasant. Where you don't know for sure what is going to happen the next moment, then also there is hope. So that is what he's trying to do. I could find no words with which to respond, but I left the children's cabin determined to fight the sea with everything I had. Please underline this line. I was determined to fight the sea with everything I have, meaning the courage. He from his son he got the hope, he got the positivity, he got all the strength from his son. That one line, that if we are together, we are not going to die. That word made a lot of difference, and this man again got up. To protect the weakened starboard side, I decided to heave using an impoverished sea anchor of heavy nylon rope heave to with the undamaged port hull facing the oncoming wave using an impoverished sea anchor of heavy nylon rope and two 22-liter plastic barrels of paraffin. Now he's trying alternate methods how to save the boat. And what is the alternate method? That he would tie a rope. Impoverished means not something which is strong, not in a very good condition. So even if it is not,
Ma'am,
so what?
this is improvised, ma'am.
Sorry, but I got just a second. Just I decided to heave to with the undamaged port hull facing the oncoming wave. I thought I left one line. Using an improvised sea anchor of heavy nylon rope and two 22-liter plastic barrels of paraffin. So to make the thing smooth, to make it smooth, they just carried on and took it so that the anchor could be put. And obviously they had lost everything, but there was still hope in the fact that you will take a what do you call a rope kind of thing, a tight rope, nylon rope, and you'll pull it. And you must have seen if you see a big ship, not this kind of a wave walker, but a huge one, will be dinghies hiding. Like those small boats also will be kind of hanging on to the other side. And also you will see paraffin, those huge cans hanging on. It's like as if it is float on the water. So this way they can protect the people from collapsing or sinking inside. That evening, Mary and I sat together holding hands as the motion of the ship brought more and more water in through the broken plank. We both felt the end was very near. So basically, it is even if I give my best shot, he realized that I'm going to be no more. But Wave Walker rode out the storm, and by the morning of January 6th, with the wind easing, I tried to get a reading on the sextant. Sextant is there is an instrument which is used in navigation. Especially, it surveys the angular distance. You would all understand that better than me. It's like any kind of instrument, like we have those direction, it shows the direction, it can navigate through. So this is a sextant is a instrument which is used in navigation and also how far or how where exactly they are, the wind, whether it is in a proper direction or not, whether they are going to survive or not. So I worked on wind speed, changes of course, drift and current in an effort to calculate our position. The best I could determine was that we were somewhere in 150,000 kilometers of ocean looking for a 65-kilometer wide island. So the entire island which that is Isle Amsterdam which they are looking for is hardly 65 kilometers. And for that they have been traveling here and there and somehow trying to improve and manage the entire process so that they reach it in a safe time and of course not sink in. And they were making all possible things so that they don't drown in it, they don't move into it. While I was thinking, two moving painfully joined. The left side of her head was now very swollen, and her blackened eyes narrowed to slits. It's as if she can't hardly see. She gave me a card she had made. See, in spite of all these hardships which are there are so many troubles that are happening. This girl had the courage to make a card for her father and, still keep the hopes alive. On the front side, she has drawn caricatures of Mary and me with the words caricatures, those cartoon like character sketches, you can say. Here are some funny people. Did they make you laugh? I laughed a lot as well. Inside was a message. Oh, how I love you both. So this card is to say thank you and let's hope for the best. Somehow we had to make it. So this is where we'll stop today. I will explain to you further. I'll show you the boat, how it looks and all that, so that whatever we have done, you can revert back and see that. And next period, maybe tomorrow, I can complete the chapter along with the question answer. Now, this is what this chapter talks about that their long journey has been very painful. The long journey has been quite painful, and they are trying to somehow cope up with the situation. And the narrator, his family, two people from outside, they are all there in that one boat. Now, the main characters, see Mary, Suzanne, Jonathan, and American Larry Vigil and Swiss guy, Herb Sigler. Now, see this boat. How does it look? Is it visible to you, Vita? And I just,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, see how it looks. It's a complete description of 23-meter long, 30-ton, wooden hulled boat, well fitted and tested in the roughest waters around Britain. The initial trial was done around Britain. This is how it looks. Only the mast and the jib is missing. So that is what this is how it is to be done. Just see. Sorry. Fine. Now just yeah. This is the story. This is there. It's a story about extreme courage and skill exhibited by Gordon Cook, his family, and crewmen in this water and waves for survival. So this is how it is. The setting is here. They sailed from Africa to Cape Town, which was quite a pleasant trip. Plymouth in England, that is the starting point of journey. That was in 1976. And initially, when they started, everything was so beautiful. They were all so happy, and they were making merry, and things were very different. Whereas when they started off, the boat was also a beauty to watch. However, with the destruction that happened, with the wave that hit so badly, so that kind of disturbed the whole peace. Whatever they were in, they were happy, they were enthusiastic, they wanted to have a memorable journey. Memorable, yes, they did have a memorable journey, but for the worse. It was not for a good thing. The entire boat, as if it kind of not dismantled, more like dismantled, or it just from every place it was damaged. It was somehow holding on, and the base, that is the hull, it was slightly intact. Maybe that's why they all survived. And the entire journey, the weather was quite atrocious, meaning quite bad, evil, and the wave also was gigantic, meaning huge, and they were somehow trying to hold on to it. Now, uh, generally, the entire ship, if you see the thing, they tried initially to protect it by wearing all kinds of lifeguards. They tried to face the things, they were wearing life jackets and all that, but that was not for a long time. Slowly, slowly, maybe the sea had the better of them. The sea had sea could do more damage to them, and the weather also changed for worse. So the water gushed inside the ship, the boat, that is Ray Walker, and it was as if everybody was thrown off guard. Especially the children, they were hurt. The girl was hurt right in front of her eyes. There was a bump. The boy also, nobody was left. In fact, the crewmen, Larry Vigil and Herb Sigler, they were pumping out water. They were like they have to save their lives and also of the others. Mary, who's the lady, she was holding on to the steering wheel. That is, the man was trying to calculate the speed and the directions and where exactly to steer clear, where to go, and they finally realized the closest place of safety is Isle Amsterdam, which is a place right in the middle, though not very big. It is pinprick, meaning very just like a pin, how it will pierce in small, small islands which are there. And one such place is this. They thought they could be of help to them, and they can at least somehow manage to survive. So before the wave walker was nearly capsizing, they tried to pull it upright. They tried to move it up, and in their own possible way, they tried to survive. However, as the things progress, you will see that things are the dirty water of the sea is gushing in, is moving in, and the children has not lost hope. They are the children are the ones who have kept the hope alive. The parents are busy calculating the direction, calculating the speed, and the sextant, that is the instrument used in navigation and all. But these children, they are busy in making cards just to encourage, just to motivate the parents that things are not lost yet. We still have some hope here. So that is what they are doing. And that is what he's saying, that I have to survive in this dire situation. And the children, they assure the parents that things will be fine if they are all together, if they are with each other. They, if they have teamwork, if they be together, that is when they are going to survive. So this is till now. Any questions that you have, you can ask me. Yeah, anybody?
Ma'am, is it a real story?
But it is a real story. Maybe a little bit of dramatization has been done, no doubt. But the story happens to be real. The especially of Gordon Cook. So it is written also that uh, they how they survived. Maybe the details they would have either exaggerated or they would have reduced. It can be either way. But then the story is that's what they proclaim. That's what I at least read about a little bit. Yeah. Anybody else? Any word that you did not understand? Anything? Because I just want to go slow. It should not end like that. Any question you have in mind, you can ask me. I'll share the MCQ kind of question also with you, like I had said. And yes, confirmed wise your syllabus. You will have one comprehension. You will have grammar. You will have writing skill, that too in MCQ form. Then you will have literature part in which you have three chapters mainly. You have a portrait of a lady, the photograph, and of course the summer of the beautiful white horse. And this is what is the syllabus all about. Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, letter writing and MCQs.
Yes.
Ma'am, how?
So uh, if you see that, I can make. I'll give you a sample question then. Don't worry. Like we'll discuss that in the class only. For example, uh, what is the format wise? Like if I give you letter to the editor, what would be the format? The blanks will be there. You have to fill up those gaps. If there is a business letter, you have to fill up what could be the possible answer. You might be given choice also. So you have to fill the closest one. Like which one do
Okay.
you think is, yeah, that kind of.
Okay, ma'am.
And grammar would be everything till now, whatever we have done. All grammar. Till the 10th also you have done. You have articles, you have prepositions, you have tenses, you have nominalizations, you have homonyms and homophones, you will have reported speech, you could have anything. Yeah. Yes, Peter? No, this term, it is there, very much part of it. Choices I've already letter and notice. I've told you choice also. Last time also I told you the same thing. But you have to prepare everything. It's not that sometimes you might have two letters only. The choice is between two letters. What will you do? Or if there is no choice at all, then what happens? So don't keep a guesswork that okay, ye kar liya so that next one I will not do. No choice like that. You have to attempt everything, read properly, and questions also, like I said, it will not be those direct questions or anything that you can easily answer. Use a little bit of your own head. Application based things will be there, less of knowledge based questions. So be prepared accordingly. Do an in depth study as well. All the only three chapters are there, but I'm sure you guys can study well. And of course, comprehension passages, a little bit of practice, like I had already in the beginning suggested, but you can still have the BBC modules are available online. You can check them as well. They have good question papers, sample ones, the recent ones also. You can check that, make a few of them, in fact, answer them, make a notebook. I hope you all are keeping because, like, end of the year, if I ask for notebook, And if you don't have it, your internal assessment, you can only know what it will be. So have a book, notebook with you, a register in fact. Always keep your work done. All the question answers at the back of the exercises, all the questions that I send, you must keep a track. Grammar should be properly done. All the notices that we have done, that also should be there. So everything should be proper, up to date. We have done 3 chapters. We have done a lot of grammar. We have done this, what do you call the, right now we are doing, we are not including that. We are not afraid to die. So otherwise the rest we can complete. Yeah. Any other question? Okay. Chalo, then tomorrow we'll meet. We'll complete the chapter tomorrow along with the questions that could be the possible one. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you.